Welcome back to the 7th weekly challenge of Alteryx challenges from the Alteryx community. With me, Nick Bignell. I'm, as you probably followed by now, doing a series of these and working my way through the challenges one by one, and trying to do it in a slightly different format where you follow along as I try and do it on the fly. API downloading challenge. So you use a download tool, I believe. I think we'll work it out as we go. But this from this Quandl search engine that offers access to millions of financial, economic, and social data sets. I have not heard of it before, but I'll believe them. It indexes data from multiple sources, allowing users to find and download various formats. So sounds pretty interesting. Maybe I'll have a play with this particular data source after, but let's see what we can do. So for this example, the response from these APIs, the response from the APIs is JSON, and our users are trying to get an aggregated annual output tourism statistics for the US dating back to 1995. Okay, text input contains URL for the API, and the goal is to parse the response. Hint: after parsing JSON, you will need to further identify the patterns in the data to effectively stage it into a table or analytics. Okay, in here you can see we have, by the looks of it, a URL, which is what we want to pass through the download. Okay, so download is in Connect, or well, it was. Let's find if we can download. Let's drag that in from the tool line, from the search bar. Okay, so let's hook that in, and we can run. Oh, it doesn't like that. Okay, maybe because I haven't configured it. Okay, field is not contained in the record. Text string URL, yeah, it's the URL. Maybe if we try again. There we go. That's a bit better. So we've got the data and headers. Headers? Okay. Download headers. Okay, data. Right. Okay. So maybe we stick a browse on it. Browse tool. Run again. Okay. So here we have. Okay. So I don't know. This doesn't look. Oh, embedded new lines over too many characters, and then we have the actual data in here. So I think we need to parse using the JSON parse, I would have said, tool. Okay, so here's a JSON parse tool. We have a number of options. I think, what was it we were looking at? Is it still in here? Yeah, look, so I think our data is going to be in this download data spot. So rather than the URL. So let's parse that. Now we've got two options to output the values into a single string field or output the values into data type specific fields. So I'm thinking let's do it to a single one first and see what we get. Okay, so that's broken it out. So we now have the name of it and then the value here. Let's have a look what we're supposed to be looking at. Okay, so we're looking to find a table that's got 1, 2, 3, 5 columns, date, arrivals, tourism, expenditure, and okay, and then it's got a number of rows. Now, what on the Alteryx challenge website actually said, don't worry too much about the actual data, but it's the structure you want, because we're pulling this live from this site. This Quandl data actually changes, I think, from what they were saying. So it's the structure basically we're going for here. So okay, let's see. So we have fields here that say column name, date, arrival, then tourism expenditure in the country. So arrivals, and then so it's those 5. Although there's departures as well. I'm wondering if we there's 8 columns here, and there's only 5 here. Well, let's see what we can do. Okay, so we got the column headers here, and then further down, yeah, here we go. We got the data itself. So we've got a start and end date, the data itself, but then here we've got the individual. So if we go here, look, it's got the individual date, so it's the end of each year. And what have we got in here? So the it's gone back up to the top. Hold on. So we've got the end of each year, so the end of 2017, the end of 2016, and then the values in each of the columns of the 8. So it's the 8 columns. So I'm thinking we will need to break out. So what we want is this data by column. Yeah, actually 9 columns, 0 to 8. Okay, so okay, let's just pull out that and see if we can sort. No, let's filter that. We filter that first, then that gives us the name. We want it to contain. We don't want it to contain all of it, so we don't need the 0 dot. Let's just do that. So column underscore names. So that will give us the headers. I'm doing it separately so I can handle them separately. We haven't got the we didn't get that. Oh, it's got more info. Data set. Oh, I didn't delete all of it. Okay, let's just do column names. Let's run that. There we go. So that's broken them out, and now we have each of them in this particular field. So we can just transform that from columns to rows with this cross tab. So we want the values. No, we don't want to group any of it, and we just want the values from new column. Actually, does it matter? No, we want the values for the headers. We can then use anything for the, because we're just going to remove it, I think. Let's just bring in the JSON name, and we'll take the first. Okay, so let's run that and see what we get. Okay, so now we've got these. It's not quite in the right order because it's now sorted it by alphabetical order. Okay, so we need to put it back in the right order, which is unfortunate, yeah. There's another way of doing it. Let's just do it this way. So if we switch that round and do name and then this value, okay, and then run that, should do it in the right order. So we've got the right, and then I think we can do. Okay, so it's the dynamic rename tool. That's what we want. So let's just bring that one in. Now you can see here it's got the all the from first row of data for all of the, yep, and then straightforward run. Okay, so now we have this the right field names in there. Those arrivals, and then yep, in the right order. Okay, so that's just the headers. So now let's have a look at the real data. So what we want is just things that have this dataset.data and then a number. Now the challenge, oh yeah, they've got underscore. So if it's not an actual thing, so let's just filter out anything other than what we need. Okay, so if we bring in another filter from this data here, and we want quick look. Let's just take one of these, copy it, yes, and then we're in data names, and it contains that. So if we just delete that, that will give us everything. That should give us everything that says dataset.data. All right. Okay, so let's run that. Okay, yeah, now we've got the values. Now what we're going to do is split them. Because we need to put them in fields, in columns based on the last number of this, the final number. So one way we could do that is we just do a text to columns. That will allow us to, where are we? We're on names. So if we split the names, and we'll use dot, because I noticed that there's 2 dots. We'll use 3, and the final column should be the one we want. So if we run that, that will give us 0. Oh, we need 4. Okay, there's more dots in there than I originally thought. So we need 4. Okay, let's run that. Okay, now we've got it. So we've got this 1, 2, 3. So we can transpose just on that field. Okay, I think I've worked out a way how to do it. That's a bit long-winded, but I can't see any other way. So I'm going to take a text to column and split to rows by the comma delimiter, but I'm going to have to do it for all the columns that we have. So it might take a bit, so I probably will speed this up. Bring in record ID to add the so that we can then take that and join it together on the record ID. That will give us them in the right order. Okay, so now we can do a join on multiple join. We can bring them all in. Okay, so we join on record ID all the way through, and let's see what that gives us. Right. So we go here, so we've got everything we need, so let's just select the here. Oh, running out of space over here. Like select, so we just want the ones that we need. So that means that we can now union it with the tiles. So if we bring that in, now we don't want to do it by name, we just want to do it by position, and that should give us the whole thing in the right place. So we have now date and everything in the right place. So let's just bring in a browse so that we can check that out properly. Okay, so we've now got the date on the first column, and then the arrivals 1,000, then the expenditure in the country by each field across. And so that's the same structure as this, although we don't departures, and therefore a match. Although I'm pretty sure that's a very long-winded way of doing it. So, but there you go. Well, thank you very much for that. I hope you enjoyed it, and look forward to seeing you next time. Thanks. Bye. Actually, I bet you thought that was over. But I just thought I'd have a quick look at the solution to see why I had to break it out into so many levels and work out. And if you have a look at this solution, you see it's a much more compact setup, but fundamentally not that different. We've got some regex in here, or regular expressions, where it is breaking out. It's breaking out the words. So that's not that the words of this particular JSON named data set there. It's not actually that different from what I was doing with the text to columns in my version. The difference is that they've been able to do this transpose in one rather than breaking it out or having it being broke out into multiple sections. If I just look at the results here, we've got this table now. So what I thought I'd do is have a quick look about doing that, because what I realized I'd missed off is that in this transpose they're grouping by this data row number that they've created, and they have this sub row number, which if you look at the regex in terms of this data, we've got this is the first number, and then that's the last number after the dot. So they're grouping it by this by this row number, which is the bit I was missing here. So if I bring this in here, which is the cost tab, and actually for us in our data, if I just put it in here, that's this column, JSON name 3 and JSON name 4 are the ones. The 3 is the one we actually want to group it by, and that was what I was struggling with. I couldn't get it to work. So we group by that, and then change the column headers to the JSON name 4, and then we want to put the value in here, and concatenate. I don't think it really matters what method you use, but you've got to use one. And then if we run that, we get it in a table in the form. Now the order's wrong, so we can just simply sort that by the row order. We'll keep it ascending. That should then get us back into the right order. You can, oh, it's not a number. Hold on, let's make it a number and then sort it. So if it's a string, you see here. So if we make it a double and then run it, there we go. So that's then put it in the right order with the dates in each year, going back into history, and then we can bring in date. So all we would then do is just union that. So we can actually just break that. We can just union that straight to there, and that should give us our breakdown, except I've got to take out, and this is where Alteryx is really good, because you can just undo things, take out that sub row field. So there we go, and that should give us our result. There we are, all the way across and down to 1995. There you go. So you don't actually need to do all this. It's a much quicker way of doing it once you realize that you can group by another function to get the row. There you go. So actually, it's thanks. Bye for me now, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.